Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode with Sam Larson Studio, and today we're going to be continuing some of the stuff we went over in yesterday's lesson. Here's what we're going to do this time. We're going to talk about mice and cheeses. Why are we talking about mice and cheeses? Well, you might remember that the last couple lessons we talked about drawing refrigerators and being able to draw them in a variety of styles. And we talked about animals, how to draw them in a variety of styles by taking just the specific traits that make the animal look like an animal. And there might have been somebody that's pretty awesome that gave a very good idea to me for drawing mice and cheeses today. So without further ado, let's get this party started. What makes a mouse look like a mouse? For some reason, huge ears, pointy nose, cute eyes. Alright? You basically have that, you've got a mouse. You can draw most of the other features however you want to draw them, and you have to add a tail at that point. Alright? So you can see from that though, you already have the idea that it's a mouse. Just by using, oh, that's right. I need to darken them so the camera actually picks up on them. As long as we've got these as the main traits, we're going to be pretty good in drawing mice. Now, what are we going to do here? We're going to play around with some stylization, some different shapes. So one of our mice, nice C curve right here. We're just going to assume that he's leaning up against a block of cheese. All right, so we're drawing the cheese as a rectangle to start. Okay. And then we're adding a line right here to indicate that it is actually more of a triangle of cheese. And what do we do to make sure that the audience knows it's cheese? Here's the thing. Not every block of cheese is going to look like a block of cheese, because sometimes you need color and you need a little bit more context. But if you want it to look like cheese, you've got a pretty safe bet that by making it Swiss, everybody will recognize it as a piece of cheese. Two big ears, which are just giant circles. A nice curved triangle for the nose. Little triangle for the mouth. And we're gonna do these little lowercase n shapes for the eyes. And I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna get rid of some of the background elements here because they are just going to get in the way of the drawing. Go in. And remember, this is cartooning, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a nice ear piercing or two to the mouse. Do you know why? Because it's cartooning and I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to break some rules with this. We can give him a couple tiny whiskers, color in that nose. And we're going to give him a chubby little cheek there to indicate that he might be chewing. And then right here we're just doing a circle for the arm. And we're doing these two curve shapes to indicate where the arm is coming from. And now we're going to do these little rounded triangles to start for the feet, right? And then you add 3 circles to that. And we've got really cute feet. And then you can add a little circle and a triangle to them to indicate where the paw prints would be. So he's got a cute little hand right here. We start off with a circle and then we add these cute little bumps. These 3 bumps indicate that he has fur. And we add a tiny piece of cheese right here, so then we know what he's eating. The cheese that you add here can be any shape. Just add the circles to it, and now you'll know that it's got the holes, so it's Swiss cheese. Just draw 2 parallel lines and have them meet at the top part, and now you've got a cute little tail. We're not going to draw the other arm because that's just going to get in the way, but we can imply that the other arm is there. There we go. And he's just happy. And maybe he's just laughing. All right. How else could we have done this? The cheese can basically be any shape that we want it to be, right? You'll be able to figure out, because it's got the circles on it, that it's Swiss. Again, why are we keeping it a Swiss cheese? It's just because we're using black and white as our only colors here, so we're a little bit limited, and contextually it just helps to have the circles on there to indicate Swiss cheese. There are other ways of drawing mice, alright? Again, need that pointy nose. And we need the ears, the round ears. And other than that, you can kind of just freestyle with the shapes. And people will still figure out that it's a mouse. Or in this case, they might say, oh, that's a rat. You can definitely indicate it's a rat by doing the extra lines on its tail. We can have little lines like that. Another shape for a mouse. More like an optical mouse, right? These are old school, so not everybody's going to recognize them. So we now have our fancy tablets. Bigger ears. See, I messed up. I gave them way too small of ears. You can usually just add a shape to it and just add 3 circles to indicate fingers or toes. We're doing the little paws. But there's any number of ways that you could do a mouse design. Again, it's about keeping those main features as the main features, and you're basically there. Look at him. Very cute. I don't know what other shapes do right now, but I'm sure that if we take this, we can even add a couple of little teeth to him, and people will still understand that he's a mouse. It's an extreme example, but it shows a little bit about how far you can go with this. How far can we push this? Still can recognize it as being a mouse. How amazing is that? This is where it's just fun to cartoon, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and you make shapes and you throw them together and you see what happens. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.